And companies, I feel like, have layers upon layers now of this uncertainty that they have to kind of juggle with, hey, we're looking at negotiations and we're seeing how that's going. Hey, we know that President Trump really on a dime can pause, stop, threaten tariffs really on any country he wants. And that's what he's been doing for now. Plus, on top of this legal battle of, are the tariffs unlawful? Are they not? And as you said, there are other ways President Trump can impose tariffs. So even if this is deemed unlawful, he can go about it another way. So do you think, or are there certain industries rather that are more vulnerable right now than other ones?
I think that obviously anybody who is very dependent on manufacturing in China has really been feeling the pain and has been going through a lot of challenge. At the same time, I do feel that the small businesses are going to feel the biggest impact, and this is across the board. In food and beverage, for example, the small business community just don't have the same buying power. And there's countless examples of, small wine importers, toy importers, clothing, apparel importers. There's numerous stories of, great entrepreneurial ideas have put together, small businesses, and suddenly their prices over the last 8 weeks have doubled, tripled, or gone, just completely to a level where they're not going to be able to produce. And this is, buying raw materials, even to bring those into the US to be able to finish them. And there's countless small businesses are being impacted. It's really hard for them because they don't have the financial wherewithal to be able to, do too much of the hurry up and wait. They don't stockpile. They're not able to stockpile inventory, and they're going to be susceptible to whatever the price point is on any given day. That's where we're already starting to see some pain, and that is going to continue until we get some level of balance in these trade negotiations.
And I think something we've seen really in the past 2 months is that President Trump isn't just changing and slightly tinkering with trade agreements with a few countries. I mean, he is completely uprooting global trade as we know it. So, from that lens, do you think this changes what small businesses and the small business community looks like forever?
I think it's definitely a shock. I think it is, the equivalent of we would call it a gray swan event. But, small businesses grow up through immense creativity. And, I was having a conversation around, restaurants and how the restaurant business, could be impacted. And it really goes to, okay, there's going to be a higher price potentially for certain goods being brought in from Mexico or from Canada. How does a small business like a restaurant, a family-owned restaurant, how do they cope? Well, they now have to think about different things. It may be you have to create different menu options. Maybe you have to create another unique identifier in terms of your customer service. So there's different ways that small businesses have to think. They have to adapt. They have to change, and that, while maybe unfortunate, that's how they were created in the first place. They saw a need and they were doing something to be able to actually supply and delight customers with that need. So I think in the natural evolution, more of that will happen. They will go down that same path, only this time it's been because of a forced change. So I do not in any way doubt the creativity and the innovation that is available in the small business community. Now it's being put to the test yet again, to be able to this time survive.